You know, there are some cities that just sort of grab you right from the moment you picture them.
Hmm.
And Edinburgh, I mean, with its castle just dramatically perched up there on that ancient volcanic
It's a
rock.
cool way to say it.
And the old town, this tangle of historic lanes, but then there's this really vibrant contemporary feel, too. It's definitely one of those cities.
Absolutely.
We've got some fascinating material you sent over, and, well, our aim in this deep dive is really to pull out the most compelling bits, give everyone a clear understanding of what makes this Scottish capital so, unique and special.
Exactly. You're looking for that snapshot, the essence of Edinburgh,
Mm.
and that's what we'll try and deliver. It's a city where history feels almost tangible,
Hmm.
as you walk the streets.
Right.
But it's also pulsing with modern life, real creative energy.
And what strikes me immediately is this sense of contrasts. It's this, like, imposing fortress, yeah.
Right.
A symbol of centuries of royal power, Scottish identity. But it's also been this incredible intellectual hub. They called it the Athens of the North, didn't they?
That's right. And that name wasn't just about the topography resembling Athens. It really reflected the Enlightenment flourishing there, philosophy, science, literature.
Ah, okay. And of course, you can't forget the festivals. World-renowned for its arts festival.
That's a huge part of its identity now. But going back to that duality you mentioned, the contrast between the old and new towns is key.
Okay.
The new town, with its orderly Georgian architecture, it actually mirrored those Enlightenment ideals. Order, reason, a deliberate break from the, well, sometimes chaotic medieval old town.
So it wasn't just about looks, it was a whole philosophy shift.
Precisely.
Mm.
It was about creating a different kind of urban environment.
Yeah.
And, importantly, the old town and the new town together, they form a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Right. UNESCO. That's quite significant, isn't it?
It is. It signifies their outstanding universal value, for urban planning, historical preservation. It's a global recognition.
Okay, let's dive into that heart then, starting with the old town. You picture it, and it's immediately that medieval core, right? This almost maze-like network of narrow alleyways. Closes, they call them.
Closes and winds, yeah.
Yeah.
Steep, winding streets. And they all seem to funnel upwards towards Edinburgh Castle. It feels very organic.
Organic, yes, but charming as it sounds, that kind of unplanned growth must have had its downsides. Did that sort of push the idea for the new town?
That's a really good point. Yeah, the very things that give the old town its character, the density, the narrow lanes, they also led to problems. Overcrowding was a big one.
I bet.
Sanitation issues, too, and just no room to expand. So the new town, starting late 18th century, was a direct answer. More space, healthier living based on, well, rational planning.
A complete shift in thinking.
A fascinating shift.
And then you step into the new town and it feels like a world away. These wide, grand avenues, elegant squares, those lovely Georgian townhouses.
It's a completely different aesthetic. A prime example of neoclassical architecture. Symmetrical facades, lots of sandstone, that planned grid system.
So different from the old town style.
Very different. The old town was more maybe vernacular,
Yeah.
built based on immediate need, available materials. The new town was making a statement, civic pride, modernity.
Okay, let's zoom in on that massive structure dominating everything. Edinburgh Castle. Sitting on an extinct volcano, Castle Rock, that alone is pretty dramatic.
It really is. And its history goes way back, at least the 12th century, for documented structures.
Wow.
But likely military use even earlier. And for centuries, it wasn't just one thing. It was a royal home, a key military stronghold, a prison.
Site of battles, I imagine.
Oh, countless pivotal moments, sieges, battles. It's truly been at the core of Scotland's story.
And inside those walls, so much to see. You mentioned the crown jewels of Scotland, including the Stone of Destiny. That's a really potent symbol, isn't it?
Hugely potent. It's not just about coronations. The Stone of Destiny represents, well, centuries of Scottish sovereignty and the struggle for it.
How so?
Well, when Edward I of England captured it way back in the late 13th century, its long absence became this powerful symbol of English dominance.
Oh, okay.
So its return in 1996, relatively recently, was seen by many as hugely significant, reclaiming a piece of national identity.
Wow. And then there's St. Margaret's Chapel. That's the oldest building in the whole city, right?
That's the one. It's tiny, almost unassuming, this little Romanesque chapel.
You must have seen so much history unfold around it.
Incredible amounts. It's this quiet link back to Queen Margaret, a really important figure in early Scottish history, a very intimate space.
And the Great Hall, you mentioned armor, weapons. Really gives you a feel for medieval life within the castle.
It does. You can almost picture the grand banquets, The political meetings, preparations for war,
Yeah.
all happening right there. The armor and weapons are a stark reminder of its military past.
And you can't talk Edinburgh Castle without the 1 o'clock gun. That daily boom since 1861. It's so quirky.
It is quirky and still going strong.
Is it just a tourist thing now, or do people still?
Oh, it's definitely a beloved Edinburgh thing, a charming tradition, and honestly, people do still check their watches by it. It started as a time signal for ships in the Firth of Forth, helping them set their chronometers.
A practical reason.
Exactly. Now it's just part of the city's daily rhythm.
Okay, so leading down from the castle, the Royal Mile, it connects the castle to the Palace of Holyroodhouse. It's more than just a road, though.
Oh, much more. It's the historic spine of the old town, a walk through centuries, really, lined with historic buildings, shops selling everything from tartan to, well, modern crafts.
Yeah.
And pubs, of course. Lots of pubs.
Naturally. It sounds like it really captures the city's history and current buzz.
It does. It descends from that symbol of power, the castle, right down to the heart of royal and civic life at Holyrood.
And specific spots along the way. John Knox's house. He was a key figure in the Scottish Reformation, wasn't he?
A pivotal figure. And his house offers this tangible link to that really tumultuous period. You can go inside and almost feel the intensity of the religious and political debates from that time.
He's your real insight.
It really does.
And Gladstone's land, a preserved 17th century tenement museum. That must show what everyday life was like back then.
It's fascinating. It gives you a window into how ordinary Edinburgh folk lived, worked, traded, all crammed into these tall, narrow tenement buildings. Different social classes, often in the same building.
Really humanizes history, I suppose.
Exactly.
And then the close of those narrow alleys. You mentioned Mary King's Close. Sounds kind of spooky with tours going underneath the modern city.
It is intriguing. It has a unique atmosphere because those streets were literally built over. So you're walking through preserved 17th century streets underground.
Wow. What kind of stories do they tell?
The tours focus a lot on the lives of ordinary people. Stories about the plague outbreaks, the daily grind of life in the crowded old town. It can be quite atmospheric, even moving.
Okay, shifting slightly. It's not all stone in history, is it? Edinburgh has Arthur's Seat right in the middle of things. An ancient volcano.
It's pretty amazing, yeah, to have this rugged natural hill right in the heart of the capital.
Is it a tough climb?
Generally considered quite manageable, actually. And the reward is just spectacular panoramic views. The city, the coast, the hills beyond. Breathtaking.
And there's that legend connecting it to King Arthur's Camelot. Is there anything to that or just a nice story?
It's largely legend and folklore, really. Some place names nearby echo Arthurian tales, too. There's no hard historical evidence linking Arthur directly to Edinburgh.
But it adds to the mystique.
Definitely. A striking landmark like Arthur's Seat just invites those kinds of romantic stories, doesn't it? Adds to the allure.
And at the other end of the Royal Mile, down from the castle, is the Palace of Holyroodhouse, the monarch's official Scottish place.
That's right. And it has a very different feel to the castle. More about royal life, maybe a bit more intimate.
Less fortress-like.
Exactly. The castle is power and defense. Holyroodhouse feels more connected to the private lives and ceremonial duties of royalty. It's fascinating to see both aspects.
And its connection to Mary, Queen of Scots, is strong, isn't it? Some dramatic stuff happened there.
Very dramatic. The murder of her secretary, David Rizzio, right there in the palace.
Yeah.
It really brings that period of history to life in a vivid, almost chilling way.
And you can actually see the rooms where these things happened.
You can, which is quite powerful. And then there's the Great Gallery, filled with portraits of Scottish monarchs, like a visual timeline of royalty.
Gives you that sweep of history.
Absolutely. You really get a sense of the long lineage. And right next door, you have the ruins of Holyrood Abbey.
Ah, yes, the ruins. Older than the palace.
Much older, dating back to the 12th century. It's this beautiful, peaceful, contemplative space right beside the grandeur of the palace. A lovely contrast.
So, beyond all this history, Edinburgh really comes alive with contemporary energy too, doesn't it? Especially during festival season. It becomes the festival city.
It absolutely explodes every August. The transformation is incredible.
And the Edinburgh Festival Fringe is the big one, right? The largest arts festival in the world.
Mind-bogglingly large, yes. The sheer number and variety of performances, theater, comedy, music, dance, everything imaginable. It's unlike anything else.
Known for being pretty eclectic, avant-garde even.
Definitely. It's where new talent often breaks through, where experimental ideas get tested. It has this independent, almost rebellious spirit that started it all.
Right.
It's just a melting pot, established names, total newcomers.
Yeah.
The energy is just infectious. You never know what you'll stumble upon.
And it's not just the Fringe, there are others too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There's the Edinburgh International Festival,
Yeah.
which is more curated, often larger scale performances, and the International Book Festival, attracting authors and readers from all over. Huge literary event.
And that military tattoo against the castle backdrop, that must be quite a spectacle.
Truly breathtaking. The precision of the military bands, the pipes and drums, the lighting on the castle, it's incredibly powerful and visually stunning. A real highlight for many visitors.
It sounds like beyond the main sites, there are these other great spots too. Calton Hill, near Princes Street, offering panoramic views.
Yeah, Colton Hill is fantastic. It's a pretty easy walk up, and the views are superb. You get a great perspective on the city layout, Old Town, New Town, Arthur's Seat.
And it has those distinctive monuments up there.
It does. The National Monument, that's sort of unfinished Parthenon look-alike,
Right.
and the Nelson Monument looks a bit like a nocturne telescope. They add to the character of the hill and give you great photo ops.
And it's used for cultural events too, something called the Beltane Fire Festival.
Yes, that's a really vibrant revival of an ancient Celtic festival, marking the start of summer. Lots of fire, drumming, costumes. It connects back to the pre-Christian roots of Scotland. Very atmospheric.
Fascinating. It's so clear Edinburgh has this deep connection to the arts. It's even a UNESCO City of Literature.
The first ever designated UNESCO City of Literature, actually.
Wow, and home to some real giants, Robert Burns, Sir Walter Scott, Robert Louis Stevenson. The city itself must have inspired them.
Undoubtedly. You can walk the same streets they walked, see the landscapes that perhaps fueled their imaginations. Their presence feels woven into the city.
And there's a writer's museum with manuscripts and personal items.
Yes, dedicated to Scott, Burns, and Stevenson. It's a wonderful place for literature fans. Seeing their personal belongings, original writings, it offers a really tangible connection to these literary legends.
Now, Edinburgh also has this other side, this reputation for being, well, a bit haunted.
Ah, yes. The darker side.
All those old closes and ancient buildings must have some stories.
They certainly do. The city's long, often bloody history combined with that atmospheric architecture. It's perfect ground for ghost stories. The ghost tours are hugely popular.
I bet. They must cover some grim history.
They definitely delve into the more macabre episodes, yeah.
And Greyfriars Kirkyard seems to be a focus point. There's the story of Greyfriars Bobby,
The loyal little dog, yes. A heartwarming tale amidst the gravestones.
but also something more unsettling. The Mackenzie Poltergeist.
That's the more chilling legend associated with the kirkyard. It attracts a lot of paranormal interest. It's fascinating how these stories, both touching and terrifying, become so ingrained in the city's folklore.
It really is. It's always fun finding those quirky little facts, too, like Edinburgh having the world's first municipal fire brigade back in 1824.
That's right. Quite forward-thinking for the time, showing a real commitment to civic organization and safety.
And the story of how the Fringe Festival started, just uninvited groups showing up in 1947 and doing their own thing.
Yeah, performing literally on the fringe of the official international festival. That spontaneous, slightly rebellious act grew into the behemoth it is today. Quite amazing.
Love that. And the clock on the Balmoral Hotel being 3 minutes fast, except on New Year's Eve.
Huh. Yes, supposedly to help people catch their trains at Waverley Station next door. One of those charming local quirks.
Adds character. And finally, the claim. More historical monuments per square mile than any other city. That really says something about the density of history there.
It really does. Everywhere you turn, history is right there, woven into the modern city.
So wrapping up this deep dive, Edinburgh just sounds like this incredible tapestry, doesn't it? History, culture, nature, all woven together.
Absolutely. You've got the dramatic landmarks, the explosion of arts every August, the deep literary roots.
And even that spooky hidden side, it really feels like a city that hits you on multiple levels.
It does. There's something for almost everyone, I think. Whether you're into the grand history, the art scene, hiking up volcanoes, or, a good ghost story.
It sounds like a place that really stays with you.
I think it does.
It really does seem like a city where, like you said, every street has a story, and maybe every visit just peels back another layer of enchantment. Makes you wonder, for anyone listening who hasn't visited yet, what particular layer of Edinburgh's enchantment might be waiting for them.